Let's go down to South Carolina. We're in Columbia because the Gamecocks held their annual spring game and they got some action on the recruiting trail. They picked up 2 new commitments, both from the state of Virginia. Shamari Earls, he's a 6'1", 175-pound corner. And big old defensive lineman Caleb Williams, also from Virginia. He goes 6'6", 260. So they're adding some beef and also a really well-rounded corner. But they had other prospects on campus, namely the number 1 offensive tackle in America, David Sanders. He took his first official visit of his recruitment, and that was to South Carolina over the weekend. Let's bring in Steve Wiltfong. Steve, how strong of a player is South Carolina?
Well, this is a program where he views as a place that he can be an instant impact player on the offensive front. So that's one thing that excites him about South Carolina. And he loves Coach Beamer, and that coaching staff feels very comfortable around them. Gamecock Central had a nice interview with him where he's saying that this visit set the bar for him moving forward. Now, I think that Clemson, Georgia, Tennessee, Ohio State gave David Sanders terrific visits this spring. He's going to take official visits to see all those programs this summer. We'll also do a midweek to Alabama during the summer. So 5 more official visits in play. But South Carolina showed David Sanders and his family what an official visit's supposed to look like, and he sees an opportunity to be an instant impact player for the Gamecocks.
Yeah, I just worry that this early official visit, the impact of it could wear off by the time he takes his 4th, 5th, 6th official visit. So we'll see there.
Well, they needed the early official visit to kind of even get in the equation, because I think out of the 6 finalists, I would have ranked them number 6 coming into the officials. That means, he's certainly still high on him. This is a young man that could go to any school he wants in the country, and he's got him in the top 6. But he had a great visit, and again, South Carolina showed the Sanders family what an official visit looks like, and we'll see if the other programs measure up as he continues through his process.
I mentioned that South Carolina picked up 2 new commitments, but there's also some new picks. You put in a prediction on the recruiting prediction machine for offensive lineman Shed Surratt, but also a big one. Jared Smith, the number 52 overall player, the number 6 edge in the country. You dropped that prediction on Monday. What is going on with Jared Smith in South Carolina?
Well, this is the guy that South Carolina views as their Dylan Stewart in this class, and they're pouring into this recruitment, and he's been to campus several times, and I think that they are the leader. Now, there's several other programs in the middle of this. You got Georgia, you got USC, Florida State, Alabama, Auburn, to name a few. But South Carolina is, in my opinion, the one trending here, and people with knowledge of the recruitment feel the same way. So I like South Carolina here. Another one to keep an eye on for South Carolina, another elite player, is 5-star linebacker Zayden Walker, who is also back on campus this weekend. His brother Julius Solomon has signed with South Carolina in the 2024 cycle. And there are people that spent time with Zayden this weekend around the South Carolina program that feel like they could ultimately be tough to beat as well. Now, Georgia is certainly one that's also near the top of his list with their linebacker pedigree, the way they develop prospects at the position. But South Carolina is giving Zayden Walker a lot to think about as well, coming off another visit to Columbia. And Josh, as you alluded to, South Carolina landed 2 commitments from the state of Virginia this week in coveted cornerback Shamari Earls, who recently visited Alabama, defensive lineman Caleb Williams, who recently visited Texas A&M. And I still love my RPM forecast in favor of the Gamecocks for another top 10 player from the state of Virginia, and Kendall Daniels, a four-star safety out of Norfolk.
All right. There's South Carolina red hot on the recruiting trail coming out of the spring game, looking to capitalize more before we get to summer.